Hello, everyone. You're listening to Voices of Science, echoes from the life science experts by RX Propellant. This is a podcast series which features key figures shaping the life science ecosystems in India with a focus on the technical and infrastructural needs of the life science community, investments, and environmental policies and considerations. I'm your host, Satesh Ragoo. Today's episode features Mr. Praveen Gupta, Founding Director, Premas Life Sciences. Together, we'll be talking about the crucial role of technology in the Indian life science industry. It is a great pleasure to have you with us today, Mr. Gupta. Let's start by getting to know about you better. Can you share a brief introduction with us, please?
Thank you, Satesh. Likewise, it's a pleasure coming in on your podcast and basically sharing my insights. I'm Praveen Gupta. As you rightly said, I'm one of the founding members of Premas Life Sciences. I've had a journey of almost about 30 years in the life science domain. And I did my master's in genetics from Pune University. And I've been working for very large Indian and large multinational companies in the last 30 years, carrying different kinds of roles and patents and establishing some of the technology spaces. And when I started my career, ELISA was a big thing, at that point. And from there till today, NGS, which is really ruling the roost. I've been part of many such amazing organizations. Yes, Trimas is one entrepreneurial venture of mine, which I started 17 years back with a group of colleagues. So that's in short what Trimas is all about, and that's about me.
One of the feathers in the cap of Premas Life Sciences has been the collaboration with Illumina, which improved accessibility of their technology for Indian scientists. Can you please share some thoughts on the impact of this collaboration?
Uh, I fully echo your thought, and not only it's one of our major feathers, but we're very proud of the fact that we brought Illumina to India. So exactly about 16 years back, we just completed 16 years of our association with Illumina. So 16 years back, the very first dollar sale by Illumina in India was done through us. So we got them to India. Illumina, we've seen it in last 16 years, the way Illumina has grown from strength to strength and become a major force in the industry by unlocking the potential of genomes. So we are very proud that we've been an exclusive partner. We've been a very strong elite partner of Illumina, and translating a complex technology like NGS and microarrays in the Indian market by not only selling the concept and the applications of the prowess of the technology, but also supporting the customers in utilizing that prowess to its maximum capacity. And I think Illumina has been an amazing partner. And I think they've supported along with Premas, the Indian customers, both in the academia and in the clinical space. And that's what we've seen a massive adoption coming up. So it's been a fantastic journey for both the companies together.
Now, many young organizations struggle to get access to state of the art technologies for various reasons. In your opinion, what are the avenues to reduce this gap?
Okay. So very, very important point you're raising actually. And very early in the game, we realized that any capex intensive technology like NGS, it is very important that you have to create models in such a manner because not everybody can afford to have that capex. So what we did is very early on, one small experimentation, or maybe I would say one of the initiation we did is creating service providers. So we made sure that we create service providers who are giving services to customers. So assuming you are a scientist in Northeast and you have 5 samples to be done, buying an entire capex of an Illumina platform will be too expensive for you. You can outsource those 5 samples to a trained expert service provider and get the same service uh, utilized. That's one way. Second way is we have basically again seeded this thought in many government institutions to create like incubator spaces. So there are central facilities in which Illumina boxes have been deployed. And now those central facilities are not only catering their own institute, but they're also catering other customers nearby. And we have provided a lot of logistical and connect support any gap in that translation part between one customer to other. We've done a lot of bridging up from our team, whether it's support, whether it's logistical support, whether it's technical support. And that has enabled a lot of such models to go through. Third, I think as we grow up, as the markets are growing up, and lots of, I think, new customers, government is also trying to now enhance the capacity in a big manner, So like in last 2 years, thanks to COVID, in a way, the capacity for sequencing has been ramped up by the government in a massive manner. So now, practically speaking, in most important major cities in the country, we have an NGS box. So what we do is we work with the government and with many other players to constantly organize workshops, trainings on these platforms for those people who want to get an access or a hands-on experience of these technologies so that they can start envisaging or maybe planning an experiment. So we basically train them or initiate them on these technologies using the massive capacity which is being built up by the government and many private players by using the training programs. So a mixture of all three, four things like this can basically help those who do not have the platform to both either get hands-on training to know how the platform works, or maybe outsourcing some of their work, or partnering with, collaborating with another partner who has the platform to utilize the technology. These are some of the ways we have kind of initiated and taken very active role in India in ensuring that the gap of those who don't have a capex and those who have the platform can be bridged.
In the West, we see research clusters have a dedicated common analytical facility wherein different instrument and equipment providers form a consortium. Do you think such a model is relevant for India?
Partially, yes. And as I said, there are many institutions which are basically working on the same model in India too, that they have a facility. They have created a facility, and now they've involved a private company or a consortium of companies to come and manage that cluster and offer services to other government and non-governmental customers. So in India too, we have examples like this, which are coming up. I wouldn't say it's rampant, but I think this model is catching up. But I think this model combined with an outsourcing of services to private service providers, both this actually helps in terms of giving access of these technologies to people who do not have the platform. Ultimately, that's the purpose. So I think to some extent right now, we are seeing this kind of model in which the existing infra by the government is used by private consortia of players or private single player to basically provide services to others.
Premas Life Sciences also conducts science outreach programs. Can you share some details on that with us, please?
Correct. So, if you carefully think about, so as I said, we have two major market segments broadly, I'm saying, while we have many, but I mean, let's say, for example, we have one market which is matured is the research or the academia space. And the second market, for example, is the clinical space. So what we realize is if tomorrow we have to see a clinical adoption of these technologies, we need clinicians to understand the prowess of genomics, which it brings in the precision medicine, I would say, gateway. So what it needed is that unless you create a awareness of the clinician who's prescribing a test to the patient, unless that clinician knows the power of the technology, we will not be able to have any demand for these tests. So we took a very conscious decision very early on in the game to organize multiple CMEs. We just finished a very successful roadshow for oncology in Delhi and Mumbai, where we called almost about 40 to 50 leading oncologists in the city. We called various kinds of group members, those who are already initiated, uh, those who are not clear, and we had a very nice panel discussion on showing how something like a comprehensive genomic profiling should become a standard of care in oncology in India. So those kind of, and with case studies, with examples, with showing how it has impacted the patient and the patient care. So we take those examples from India and we show to the people that this is possible to utilize these technologies in India and what's the benefit out of this. Similarly, for example, we have partnered with many academic institutes in the country. Say, for example, IGIV. We have partnered with IGIV, which is a leader in genomics. They have done amazing research studies on, say, for example, rare disorder cases, people who are suffering from rare disorders, and where there was a diagnostic odyssey of maybe 10 years, 20 years of not knowing what the problem is, and how they've deployed, say, exome sequencing or whole genome sequencing to find out what the problem is, and sometimes how they've also found some interventions like maybe some therapy, maybe some supplements to alleviate the major, I would say, symptoms of the patient. To show such examples to the clinicians and the large path lab community from those who have used this in India, if we show and build up those kind of programs, chances are that you're creating more literacy or more adoption or more awareness about the prowess of this technology in the utilization in the clinical space.
Premas Life Sciences started as a CRO initiative and evolved to utilize technology as a major component of your business model, winning awards for your contributions to research development. Would you rather like to throw some light into what's next in this exciting journey?
Thanks. I think you're right. So we started as a contract research organization, and then we thought, okay, our job is to basically, can we bring in some of the cutting edge technologies in India and have a manpower or have a trained manpower which can basically tomorrow train the customers and utilize the power of these technologies to boost the Indian science. That was the whole mandate initially, and that's why we got these technologies. Extending it further, we realize that there's a lot of right now huge amount of impetus on the made in India sentiment right now. So what we want to do is we want to collaborate, you network, or maybe use our network of collaborations with the academia and the pathology segment. We would like to develop India specific panels on Illumina, which is relevant for the Indian context at affordable price points, and make them into either a kit or an assay and then launch it in the Indian market. So this will be our products developed for Indian market, which is scientifically having content, which is researched by some of the leading academicians in the country, well validated through the Indian approval processes, and we would like to launch it. And just to give you an example, for example, tuberculosis testing, so we are looking at developing our own product for saying, can we replace or can we basically offer a better value than culture-based drug sensitivity testing using NGS-based methods to sequence the bug and maybe in a couple of days give an answer which drug will respond to the patient from an Indian context. So because we have the maximum TB burden in the world, can we develop this locally out here? So our major focus is to look at adding more technologies, but developing products of Premas which are locally relevant at an affordable price point and made in India.
Mr. Gupta, I sincerely thank you for joining us and sharing your great insights on technology in the life science industry with us. And thank you for listening, everyone. To know more about today's episode, please check out our description below or visit our website www.rxpropellant.in. Do join us again for another episode of Voices of Science by RX Propellant.